Never imagined that my brother's wedding would turn into one of the most humiliating and shocking days of my life. Growing up, my brother Alex and I were inseparable. We shared everything, from school secrets to late-night ice cream binges. When he told me he was engaged, I was genuinely happy. I had been looking forward to this day, picturing myself helping him plan, laughing with the bride, and feeling that warm, sisterly bond that only siblings can share. But none of that happened. It all started weeks before the wedding. The bride, Emily, was different. She was charming on the surface, always smiling, always sweet during family gatherings, but there was a subtle undertone I couldn't ignore. Something possessive and territorial. I brushed it off at first, thinking it was just normal wedding stress, but then the signs became impossible to ignore. Emily started questioning my presence at small family events, making comments like, "Do you really need to come to this?" Or, "Maybe you should give Alex some space to plan things with me." At first, I laughed it off. "It's my brother, of course. I'm involved," I would say to myself. But her comments grew bolder. One afternoon, I was at Alex's apartment helping him organize the guest list. Emily called, pretending to be sweet, but her words were sharp. "Are you sure you should be doing that, sweetie? I thought I was handling the details with Alex," she said. I paused, confused. "What do you mean? I'm his sister. This is my right." There was a pause. Then she said, "Well, maybe some roles should be clearer. We wouldn't want anyone to feel left out, right?" It was subtle, but I knew what she meant. She was trying to push me out, and I wasn't going to let that happen. The first red flag in front of other people came at the bridal shower. I had organized the whole thing. The invitations, the decorations, even the cake. I had spent weeks making it perfect. I arrived, excited, only to find Emily casually mentioning, "I thought I was planning this with Alex's sister. Didn't she say she'd do it?" People looked at me, confused, and I realized she had been telling everyone that I wasn't part of the planning. I felt my face flush with anger and embarrassment. But I didn't let it show. I smiled, laughed it off, tried to steer the conversation. Inside, though, I was furious. Who did she think she was? My brother's wedding wasn't just about her. It was about family, about all of us celebrating together. The next incident happened during the rehearsal dinner. Emily arrived late, wearing a pristine white dress, already looking like she was trying to overshadow everything. She sat at the head table, not next to Alex, but strategically placed herself closer to his parents, subtly claiming the spotlight. "Can you help me with the seating arrangements?" Alex asked me. I was excited to step in, but Emily interrupted, smiling sweetly but coldly. "Oh, I think I've already handled it. I'll make sure everything is perfect." Alex didn't notice the tension, but I did. And I realized Emily's goal was clear. She wanted to replace me in my brother's life, starting with this wedding. The morning of the wedding, I woke up feeling a knot in my stomach. I had been excited for months, imagining my speech, imagining the smiles, imagining the moments I would share with my brother. But now, every interaction with Emily felt like walking through a minefield. She had already started planting seeds of doubt in the family's minds. At the wedding venue, the chaos was palpable. Emily was directing the florists, the caterers, and even the photographer. Every time I tried to contribute, she would swoop in, correcting me or claiming, "Oh, don't worry, I've got this covered." I tried to stay calm. I reminded myself, this was Alex's day. He loved both of us. Surely he would see through Emily's attempts. But then, during the family photos, it happened. Emily moved in front of me, smiling brightly at the camera. She whispered, "You can stand back, sweetie. Let me handle this." I froze. For a moment, I felt invisible. My brother, my family, and everyone I loved seemed to see Emily as center of attention, while I faded into the background. I couldn't let that happen, not without a fight. I waited until the photographers were distracted and then stepped in, carefully positioning myself. I smiled, laughed, and engaged everyone around me. People noticed. They smiled back. I realized that no matter what Emily tried, she couldn't erase my presence. Not completely. Later, as we sat down for the ceremony, Emily approached Alex and whispered something. I couldn't hear, but the look on his face changed. Confusion, then a small frown. I watched, heart pounding, as he responded softly, "I'm not sure that's right." It was subtle, but it gave me hope. Maybe he was starting to see the cracks in her perfect facade. During the ceremony itself, Emily's attempts became more aggressive. She subtly tried to control the officiant, suggesting different readings and even changing parts of the vows. I could feel the tension rising, and I realized this wasn't just about me. She was trying to manipulate everyone: my brother, our family, even the wedding staff. After the vows, as we moved to the reception, Emily made a bold move. She approached the microphone to give a speech, without asking Alex or anyone else. The room went quiet. All eyes turned to her. She smiled, holding a glass of champagne. I could feel the heat rising in my cheeks. This was my moment, too. I had prepared my own speech, filled with memories, jokes, and heartfelt words about my brother. I wasn't going to let her steal it. As Emily began speaking, I took a deep breath and approached the microphone. I smiled warmly at the guests. "Excuse me, everyone," I said, my voice steady but firm. "I think there's something important that needs to be shared." The room shifted. People looked at me, surprised. Emily's smile faltered. She tried to continue, but I didn't let her. I shared stories of Alex and me growing up, our bond, and the support we had always given each other. I spoke of family, love, and the importance of honesty. By the time I finished, the room was silent. But the silence wasn't tense. It was respectful. People were processing what they had just heard. I saw my brother's eyes glisten. He nodded, quietly acknowledging everything I had said. Emily's expression changed from smugness to panic. She realized that her plan to replace me as Alex's sister of honor wasn't working, but she wasn't ready to give up. I could see the wheels turning in her mind, plotting her next move. The rest of the evening was a tense dance. Emily tried to regain control, directing toasts and interrupting moments, but the guests were starting to notice her behavior. Whispers spread, and subtle glances exchanged across tables. People were beginning to see the truth. Emily wasn't the sweet, charming bride she pretended to be. By the end of the night, I felt a mixture of exhaustion and relief. I had stood my ground, reclaimed my place, and reminded everyone, including my brother, of the bond we shared. But deep down, I knew this was far from over. Emily wouldn't stop. If anything, she would escalate. And I realized something chilling. The wedding was just the beginning. What she had started here, trying to replace me, trying to manipulate my family, was only the first step in a much larger plan. I left the venue that night with my heart pounding, my mind racing, and a determination I had never felt before. Emily thought she could erase me from my brother's life. She thought she could take my place. But I had exposed her, at least for now. And I knew, without a doubt, that I wouldn't stop until the truth was fully revealed. Because some battles aren't just about winning, they're about protecting the people you love. The day after the wedding, I thought things might settle down. I hoped that once the chaos of the wedding was over, Emily would calm down. I was wrong. From the moment I woke up, I could sense her presence everywhere. She had subtly positioned herself in family group chats, sending messages about wedding gifts, thank you notes, and family plans, in a way that made it seem like she was now the central figure in Alex's life. Every time I responded, she would send a sweet yet condescending reply, as if she were teaching a child how to behave. It was infuriating. I tried to ignore it, focusing on normal conversations with Alex, but he seemed distracted, stressed, and even hesitant in his usual warmth toward me. I could see the subtle influence she had over him, like a shadow creeping between siblings. Then came the first real test, a post-wedding brunch that Alex's parents organized. Emily had already spoken to them about my responsibilities as the new bride, trying to dictate seating, food choices, and even casual conversation topics. It was clear she wanted to replace my role entirely. I arrived, taking a deep breath. I wasn't going to be passive this time. I greeted everyone warmly, engaging my brother, parents, and cousins in lighthearted conversation. But Emily was already there, smiling too brightly, attempting to command the room with every gesture. She directed servers, corrected family jokes, and subtly criticized my attire. I realized that this wasn't just about a wedding or minor power plays. It was about claiming my brother's world and rewriting the family dynamic to suit her. and if I didn't act soon, she would succeed. Over the next few days, I started quietly gathering evidence. Emily had a pattern, manipulating conversations, subtly turning people against me, and even lying to Alex about things I supposedly said. I kept track of messages, overheard conversations, and witnessed behaviors. The more I observed, the more I realized the depth of her deception. The breaking point came when Alex called me one evening. "Can we talk?" he said, his voice hesitant. I knew immediately something had happened. I agreed, meeting him at our childhood spot, a small park we had spent countless hours in as kids. Alex looked troubled. "I don't know what to think anymore. Emily, she said some things about you. Things that make me, I don't know, question everything." I felt my heart sink. He was doubting me because of her manipulation. "Alex, listen carefully," I said, taking a deep breath. "Everything she said about me, it's not true. She's trying to push me out, to replace me in your life. Look at what happened at the wedding. Remember the rehearsal dinner, the speech, the family photos? She's controlling the narrative." He frowned. I guess I noticed some of it, but I didn't want to overreact. "Alex, this isn't just wedding stress. She has a pattern. I've seen it. I've been tracking it," I said, showing him the evidence I had collected, messages, notes, and accounts of her behavior from other family members. His face shifted from confusion to realization. I can't believe she did all this. I thought she was just nervous or stressed. But this is manipulative." I nodded. "Exactly. And if you don't act, she'll continue. She wants to erase me from your life. I can't let that happen." Alex was silent for a moment, then said, "We need to confront her." The next family gathering became the stage for the final confrontation. I knew Emily would try her usual tactics, charming the crowd, deflecting blame, and pretending innocence. But this time, we were prepared. Alex and I approached her together. I could see her smile falter as she realized she was no longer in control. "Hey, what's going on?" she asked, feigning surprise. I looked her straight in the eyes. "Emily, we need to talk about what you've been doing. About the lies, the manipulation, and the attempts to replace me in Alex's life." Her face hardened. "I don't know what you're talking about. I've done nothing wrong." Alex stepped in, holding my hand. "Emily, we have evidence. Messages, conversations, witnesses. We know you've been manipulating everyone, including me. This ends now." The room grew quiet. Family members looked on, shocked. Emily tried to maintain her composure, but her eyes betrayed panic. "This isn't fair. You're twisting everything." I remained calm. "No, Emily, the truth isn't twisted. We're simply exposing what's been happening. Your attempts to erase me and control Alex's life are not acceptable." The confrontation was intense. Emily tried to argue, to charm, to guilt trip, but every tactic fell flat. Alex stood beside me firmly, showing that he understood and supported me. Family members began speaking up, recounting incidents they had noticed. Slowly, the web of manipulation unraveled. Finally, Emily's mask cracked. She realized that her plan had failed, that the family had seen through her, and that my bond with Alex was unshakable. For the first time, she looked genuinely afraid. Alex turned to me afterward, relief evident in his eyes. "I'm so sorry I didn't see it sooner. I should have listened more closely." I smiled softly. "It's not your fault. She's clever and she knows how to manipulate situations. But the important thing is that we're aware now, and we can protect our family from her influence." In the days that followed, Emily attempted to maintain her facade, but her power had crumbled. Family members were wary of her. Alex was more attentive than ever, and I had regained my rightful place as his sister, not just in title, but in the bond that we had shared since childhood. The wedding had been a battlefield, but it had also been a revelation. I learned that standing up for yourself, even in the face of manipulation and charm, is crucial. I learned that family bonds are stronger than any attempt to erase them. And I learned that exposing the truth, even when uncomfortable, is the only way to protect the people you love. By the time the honeymoon ended and life returned to normal, Emily's attempts to dominate my brother's life had faded. She was polite, distant and careful, not out of genuine change, but because the family had collectively set boundaries she could not cross. Alex and I resumed our sibling relationship, stronger than ever. We laughed, shared secrets, and enjoyed the same closeness we had before the wedding. But the experience left a mark, a reminder that not everyone who smiles is trustworthy, and that vigilance and courage are sometimes necessary to protect the people you love. Looking back, the wedding was more than a celebration. It was a test. And while Emily tried to replace me, she only succeeded in showing how resilient and unbreakable our bond truly was. This was a lesson I would carry forever. When someone tries to diminish your place in the lives of those you love, the only way to protect it is to confront them with truth, courage, and unwavering determination. And that is exactly what I did.